Hello, are we live?
You are live. Go for
Yeah!
it.
Aloha snack bar, everyone. It's the day we've all been waiting for. Every patriotic American out there, every deplorable, every person who thought that this day will never come, it's finally here. It is officially No Obama Day. And we here at Rogue Money are celebrating with all of our friends in the new media. I'm not calling us the alt media. We are the new media, and you need to get on that real quick. And you know what? What an exciting broadcast we have lined up for you today. We have an amazing plethora of guests. We're going to start off with Dave from X22 Report, who's ready online right now and getting ready to rock and roll with it. We're going to have, right after Dave, we're going to have Sean from SGT Report, and then we have Ken Schortgen, Bankster Slayer, Gus Demas from Perpetual Assets, the Prince making his debut, the Middle Eastern sleuth extraordinaire, and, of course, at the end of the broadcast, we're going to wrap it up with W and a few words by yours truly. So, guys, thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today. Thank you out there for listening live. And without further ado, Dave from X22 Report. Dave, it's here. It's here, Dave. It's an Obama Day. Can you believe it?
I cannot believe it. I thought this day would never come, and here it is. Actually, I can't even believe that Trump is president. I mean, if you asked me about 3 years ago, I would have never believed that he would be president of the United States.
Same here, man. I'm dumbfounded. I told everybody to go out and buy the cheapest champagne possible. I got, as I was telling you off air, I went to a stationery store. I found some cheap champagne. I got some boxed wine. I don't know what's going to happen with this concoction and some canned cocktail wieners, but this party's getting started early here, Steve. I mean, Dave. It's getting started early.
You can call me Steve. It's fine.
You know what? I had somebody else pop in the thing. So sorry about that. But so how do you feel, man? I mean, amazing, is it not?
It's completely amazing. And actually, you know what's funny? I mean, I was listening to his inauguration speech, and you know, it's, of course, the news is out there saying, "Oh, this is the shortest one since Carter." But you know, something doesn't have to be long-winded to have all the points and everything that you want to hear in a speech. I mean, you can be long-winded and say absolutely nothing. And most of the time I do that. But a lot of his stuff that he said in his speech is absolutely amazing. You know, where he says, you know, the carnage is going to stop now. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if anyone, I mean, you look at what we've been doing with the new media, as we're not calling it the alternative media anymore. I like that. Yep. We've been talking about this for a long time, all the carnage and what the globalists have been doing and how they haven't been working for the people. And if you notice his entire speech, it was completely wrapped around the people. Yeah. It wasn't about what, you know, he's going to do and how great he is, a pat on his back. He was talking about the people. He was talking about, you know, what we need to do to bring this country back to the way it was. And for some reason, people don't like this. It's strange.
Yeah. Exactly. It's the mentally disconnected, cognitively dissonant libtards who are having a rough time processing this. I don't know what these snowflakes are doing, Dave. I don't know. But did you notice throughout the whole thing? And I was taking video of this. I was taking photographs of this whole entire this whole inauguration actually, and I could not escape the fact that Michelle Obama's face looked like she was sucking on a lemon the entire day. I mean, she looked pissed off, man. Like she had the resting bitch face on. You know what I'm saying? The resting bitch face, that look, that sour look. And then Obama looked like he was just happy to get the hell out of there. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did notice that. Actually, my wife pointed that out also, that she was like, why is she so upset like that? And if you notice, when they were standing there all in the line, Obama and Michelle, they both had their arms crossed in front of them. And, you know, like, hey, you know, we're guarding ourselves here. Right. But she did not look happy at all. Looks like she just wanted to leave. Like, all right, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to be here at all. I can't care for this man. I don't care for this man. I just want to leave. And that's exactly what it looked like. It looked like that, you know, they just wanted to leave. They wanted to go to lunch.
You know what it is? I mean, I get it that she's upset that she's going to lose her 72, not 72 virgins, but the 72 assistants okay, that were helping her out from everyday thing. We don't even know what these assistants were doing, but she had 72 of them, right? I guess she's going to miss out the fact that she's not going to be taking lavish vacations with like 200 of her entourage everywhere in the world on the taxpayers' dime. Maybe she's upset about that, Dave. Maybe they're upset that they're going to lose their private plane called Air Force One, and maybe the 306 rounds of golf. Well, Obama still be playing golf. It won't matter. But that it shows the level of classlessness, the classlessness that was in this administration for the last 8 years, and it felt like 16 years. I couldn't be happier for them to go, Dave.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, from everything that has happened, I'm hoping that Trump follows through on everything that he's been talking about. And you mentioned the Obamas with their vacations and stuff, and over the 8 years they spent $85 million on personal trips. I mean, 85 million. I mean, think about what Trump has done as he's coming into the White House. He said, listen, I'm not going to take a salary. I don't want you to build a plane and waste the money on that. And everyone is looking at everything else, which is completely meaningless. Like, oh, look, he's a racist. And they keep using that word over and over. And I don't think everyone really understands the definition of racist, but they keep using it because that's the only word they have to make it look really bad. And it sounds like a bad word, but he is looking at the situation, telling the globalists, telling the central bank, listen, this all has to stop. This can't go on this way. And the people have to take back the country. And the only way to do this is to bring back jobs, put America first. I mean, didn't George Washington do this?
Yep. Didn't
George Washington say, listen, we need to take care of ourselves first. We can't go out and spend $14 trillion on war anymore.
No,
we have like 200 and something trillion in debt right now. It's impossible. We need to come back to our roots. We need to come back to the U.S., the citizens, the people, bring the jobs back. The only thing I'm hoping is that, are we too late? I mean, are we going to go through some type of catastrophe first before everything can be reset and redone? Because think about all the time that these globalists, the central bank, had to destroy the country. I mean, we're at the point where, things don't look that great. And the other thing is that most of the statistics they've been throwing at us, it's completely fake. So we've been living in a fake world. When this fake world falls apart, what happens? That's the problem. I mean, yes, he is a master of bankruptcy. He knows how to handle situations. He knows how to, make deals, and he is a businessman. He's not a politician. He doesn't stand by and say, something, we'll try this. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, we'll just keep spending money. No, he goes in like in New York City and he says, listen, these politicians and the city can't create a skating rink. I'll do it in 8 months. Boom. Here we go. I saved you money. I did it. Boom. That was it. The same thing. Go ahead.
It was his motto is under budget and ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
That's
he
his motto.
did it with a hotel in Washington, D.C., where they asked him to come in and redo the hotel because they couldn't do anything with it. It's just amazing. I watch him and you hear what he says and you see his actions, and he just cuts right to the chase. And I think what's been happening is that since we've had Obama for 8 years and everyone is equal, everyone deserves a trophy, don't use bad words, and everyone is special in their own way. And we've been hearing this for such a long time. When you get a New Yorker in there who just tells it the way it is. And New Yorkers have a certain way. I mean, I lived in New York for
yes, we do. You're a New Yorker transplant. Once a New Yorker, always a New Yorker, no matter where in the country you go.
Yeah, we have a certain way of speaking, and we get right to the point. We don't like to beat around the bush, and people take it, all different ways. People not from New York go, "Oh, whoa, wait a minute." And other people from New York, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I think people around the country, they're like, "This guy's really rude." Well, you know something? I'd rather have someone that tells me the truth, that is rude, that tells it the way it is, than someone pretending, someone lying to me. Because someone who tells me the way it is right up front, I know who this person is. I know what he's going to do, or she. The person who's lying, the person who lives behind illusions, the person that says one thing and does the other, I don't know what this person's going to do.
Right.
I don't know what to believe, what not to believe. And, I think America is being shocked by his New York presence. And I don't think they fully grasp what he's all about. And we'll have to see what happens as we move throughout the year, because, the economy right now is, been built up on illusion. I'm very nervous that, the central bankers will pull their funding that they've been, their QE that they've been using, covertly, and they'll just pull it back and let the whole thing fall. And I could see they might set him up one way or another
Right.
to take the fall.
Yeah. The most amazing thing is that the thing that really amazes me about him and the people that he surrounded himself. I mean, look at the key evidence. The whole reason why this whole Russian hacking scandal fell apart, and the whole reason why this whole, Trump was in a hotel in Moscow with prostitutes, and how that whole thing fell apart and blew up on the mainstream media's face, was the simple fact that Trump, the main guy that was spearheading it to really dismantle this whole thing, was General Michael Flynn. He's got people in his cabinet that are just like you and I, Dave. They know what's going on. They have a finger to the pulse. They see the threats from all angles. This is like unprecedented in any sort of presidential history, because never before has a president been so aware. This guy, okay, the beauty of this guy, he knows he's gotten there because of people like us, Dave. That's what makes it so beautiful. It's like he is the alt media president. He is the new media president. And the fact that he's going to allow alternative media, sites and bloggers to attend the press conferences at the White House, Dave, that's a game changer.
That's amazing, actually. I was like shocked. I mean, the corporate media does not like this at all.
No.
They're sweating crap. Now we got to tell the truth, because think about it. A vlogger, a blogger sitting in there reporting on what he says and what's going on will be completely different from the corporate media if the corporate media is going to lie. Right. And then how do you start explaining this?
Right.
Then they're going to be like, okay, that's fake news. I mean, is it fake news, or is it the corporate media fake news? And if you notice, they're pulling away from fake news because it looks like the new media, we keep pointing things out that, what they're saying is not true. What the Washington Post said isn't true. And actually, Obama, you mentioned the Russian hacking. Obama did a press conference, and he actually said that the report was really inconclusive, that it was Russia.
Yeah.
So right there and then, I mean, everything again was a lie.
Right.
They were pushing, and it was a complete lie. And it's just unbelievable the way the whole thing is being run. I wanted to ask you a question. Sure. Do you think at this point, I mean, we've seen what happened, like Jill Stein with the recount, the electors. I mean, the electors with the Russian hacking, and then the Russian hacking, with and then all the other stuff coming out with the dodgy dossier. Mm-hmm. Do you think the elite, the central bank, those who run the government behind the scenes, do you think they're done?
I think my cohort London Paul said it best. He said the war with the cabal is over. All that's left is just the dust up right now. All that's left is the few battles and skirmishes. Will they try to pull something? Yes. Does the stock market need a massive correction? Absolutely. There has to be a transition to take place to shift us into a new economy. We're going to be part of the new Silk Road. We're going to be part of all those things that are happening. Like, look at the speech what he said today, Dave. He said, we're no longer going to impose our selves on anyone, but we're willing to work with everybody and show ourselves to be the ideal, the example, the shining example of what is possible. I mean, that is a stark contrast to the globalists saying we need regime change here, that, and thither and yon. It is absolutely refreshing. I think the cabal's in a whole heap of trouble. I think initial reports have stated, Dave, that George Soros had to change his diaper at least 3 or 4 times. I've heard that he lost control completely of all his bowels. He's in trouble. He's in big trouble. So the next few weeks are going to be very interesting. I think there's going to be a purge in the CIA. I think the cocaine import agency is going to be smashed to 1,000 pieces and cast to the wind. Something Kennedy wanted to do. The Fed is going to get audited. I think there's a lot of things that are happening for this year, man. But like, what's your take? What do you feel for this coming year under Trump and some of the challenges that you see on your radar?
Well, I'm like you. I think they're going to try maybe one more time
Yeah.
to try to do something. I I look into their minds and I look into their way of thinking, and they don't like to give up. They always keep pushing, and they've worked very hard. I mean, think about all the years that they spent building this up and trying to get everyone on board with their plan. And now everything is turned upside down. So I really think what's going to happen, and I really do believe that we need the reset of
we
this
do.
economy to put it back on the right track, because as it is right now, we're on the wrong track. It's not going to work. I think Trump realizes this, but what I'm nervous about is how the corporate media is going to play this up, and when things start to really fall apart, because I think there's going to be a lot of truth that's going to be coming out of his administration, things that people are going to be shocked about. I mean, already we hear like the student loan numbers. They're completely worse off than they were reporting. Of course, they're calling it a glitch for the last 8 years, but things are a lot worse than what they've been telling everyone. And a lot of people had been living in a bubble world of, everything's great. And then when the truth comes out, I think people have a very tough time understanding, believing, and dealing with the truth. It's almost like the Matrix, when Neo first came out of the Matrix and he started learning the truth and he said, he's going to pop. It's very difficult for people because they act in a way where, I can't accept this. I can't. And they get angry. They get pissed off. They can't accept it. And I think we're going to go through a lot of this. I think there's going to be a lot of pain before we get to the brighter side. And I think the brighter side will come. I just think we have to get through this period.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. It's pretty funny. It just announced, Dave, that all references to climate change has been removed from the WhiteHouse.gov website.
That to me, that actually they need to remove it from Common Core now.
Yes.
That's the next thing.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. Dave, we got about 2 minutes, man. Why don't you plug your site, your work, and give your closing comments, sir?
All right. If you don't know who I am, maybe you don't, maybe you do, I don't know. X22report.com. You can go to the X22 Report YouTube channel. I also have the X22 Report Spotlight YouTube channel where I do interviews with many different people. This Saturday, I have another interview going to be posted with Charles Hugh Smith. So if you want to check that out, you can. I do a report every single day, and that is put up on YouTube and on my site between 6 and 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I'm hoping whatever Trump is saying right now, he's going to stick to it. And so far, he has been. So far, everything that he promised in his campaign, which is very unusual for someone who's campaigning to be president, because normally they don't follow through. So far, he's been following through on everything he has said, and we'll have to see what the outcome is going to be in his first 100 days.
Absolutely. And folks, again, check out x22report.com. I myself am a subscriber. I love Dave's work. He is one of my two favorite channels that I go to, is X22, and the other one being SGT Report, and Sean, who's going to be standing by. But Dave, thank you so much for coming on this Nobama Day, where we celebrate victory over the globalists, sir. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And go Nobama Day.
Yes, go Nobama Day, brother. Yes, and MAGA. Enjoy your weekend, Dave. Take care.
You too, man.
Bye-bye. All right, folks, that was Dave from X22 Report. Amazing guy, amazing work. He does a phenomenal. So, again, check out x22report.com as well as X22 Report YouTube channel and the X22 Spotlight. I myself am subscribed to all of them. Love Dave's work. He is fantastic. Now I'm going to bring on to you my other favorite guy, Sean from SGT Report, who's standing by. And again, I'm a huge fan of Sean's work. Sean and Dave are like the two guys I love what they do. And Sean's on right now from SGT Report. If you haven't subscribed to SGT Report, do it, especially with the whole Pizzagate thing that was going on and everything. I mean, Sean just nailed it, hit it out of the ballpark. He was an absolute bloodhound when it came to that story. And Sean is one of the guys like Sean and Dave, these guys are part of the tip of the spear of what I'm calling not the alt media, but the new media. Sean, welcome, buddy. How are you?
V, thanks, man. Obama Day. I love it. That was funny,
No
man.
Obama Day,
I
man.
was
No
hanging
Obama
out
Day.
in the background, just sort of listening to you guys in that last couple 3 minutes, just dying to jump in. I mean, what a day. What a
Dude.
day, man. This is great. 20 minutes, right? We'll just do a
Mhm.
quick 20. You're bringing
Go
on all
ahead.
sorts of cool people. Quick 20 on
Yep.
this most monumental January 20th. Hopefully a new day for liberty and the republic.
Yes, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. I told everybody go get I got some cheap boxed wines and some cheap some cheap champagne. I'm gonna go get some cheap cigars now. It's just one of those days. I got some pork rinds already. I'm ready to rock and roll.
You know, I was doing a interview with Brother John F., which I will post
Yeah.
today, so it's in the moment. We were having our conversation during the inauguration, and it was just so noteworthy because so many interesting things were to be documented today, not the least of which Hillary Clinton looked apoplectic. Beside herself, having to be there. You can imagine being in her shoes after the
Oh,
Bilderberg Group told her in 2008 she would get the nod. One day she didn't. No matter how hard the media tried to steal this thing for her, they couldn't do it. And I
right.
just, can you imagine being in her shoes today, knowing that Obama didn't pardon her? She's got no pardon, man. I don't know where she's going to run for cover now.
Oh, that's right. Good point, my man. Good point. Obama didn't pardon her. He's gone. And wow, man.
And,
That is something. And
did you
South
notice
America.
something else, brother? So in Trump's speech, which I thought was extremely effective for anybody on either side of the aisle, if you want to be intellectually honest, that was a speech by and for Americans. And he said, the oath of office I take today is an allegiance to all Americans. The government, this government is now yours. And I'll tell you what, man. I'm trying not to be too pie in the sky about this. I mean, I've really ridden both aisles, both sides of the aisle as it pertains to Trump. I've always said, listen to the words he said. That's how I will judge him. And now let's see if he follows through with actions. But Hillary, you'll notice at the end of that thing, when all the handshaking was going on, Bill Clinton
Mhm.
was just one row of people behind the hands that were being shaken. Trump made no visual connection with those people. He didn't look at them. He didn't shake their hands. I don't know where she's going to run for political cover now. I really don't. She has no blanket amnesty. There's no. Let's see what happens, man. I think he's going to go after the Clintons. He'll go after the Clinton Foundation. Maybe a limited hangout, but I don't think this is over.
No, I don't think it's over at all. I mean, Preet Bharara right here in New York, he hasn't dropped his investigation into the Clintons at all. He has not stopped that. The FBI here in New York has been really building a case here. They're not letting up whatsoever, man. The Clinton Foundation is being investigated. Hence, recently as last week, you see that heads are starting to roll at the Clinton Foundation. People were getting fired left and right. And Sean, that's a clear sign right there of the changes and the pressure that's being brought to bear, and the fact that the Clinton Foundation has pissed off foreign governments. In other words, they've created for themselves the perfect storm. Trump doesn't personally have to go after these people whatsoever and get it politicized. He just needs to step out of the way and let nature take its course, Sean. It's unreal.
Well, the other thing that's monumental about today, I mean, if you want to look at just signs of change, if you want to look for just monumental symbolic signs, what happened today? Not only were the Clintons there and apoplectic and really at this point politically neutered beyond any recognition of what they used to be, they're politically dead at this point. In addition to that, George Bush Sr., the former director of the CIA and former president, and Barbara Bush were not there. They were conspicuously absent, of course, blaming their health. Maybe that's the case. I actually read the letter that Bush Sr. sent out to Donald Trump explaining why he wouldn't be there. And in his words, he said, according to my doctors, if I'm sitting outside in the cold January weather of Washington, D.C., it may put me 6 feet under. His words. I'll tell you what, man, the old guard looked neutered today. The Clintons neutered, the Bush family not there. I tell you what, Bush Sr., Barbara Bush not there. Very symbolic, in my opinion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very, very, very symbolic at that. And then also the other thing as well that you know what I couldn't get over, man. I mentioned this to Dave from X22. Did you see the face on Michelle Obama the entire ceremony?
Yeah, yeah.
The resting bitch face. She had that resting bit, like just ooh, she was seething, seething.
But to Obama's credit, he's quite the player. I kind of chuckled to myself a couple of times. I mean, he is a player. Just the way he just kind of sports the whole thing, and then in his speech after, he says we've been kind of milking this goodbye thing, and he's just got a chuckle, and he's got a just very nonchalant, laid back. He just. I'll tell you what, if that guy had ever actually backed the Constitution and been a great president, I mean, if he'd actually seemed to care about the country more than the United Nations, he'd be a guy he could get behind. So I just reject out of whole cloth this nonsense about Americans being racist. It's a bunch of bull. People wanted that man in office because they believed in him, and then he betrayed most of everything he promised to do. But he sure talks a good game.
He does. I mean, he made those glib statements, hope, change. Like, what does that even mean? Yeah. It's unreal, man. So how are you looking forward to this presidency, man? What are the things that are on your radar, some of the things you might be concerned about, the challenges you see that are ahead?
Well, I mean, it's the same challenges we've been talking about forever. But, I'll quote Trump from, today's speech. He said, from this day forward, it's going to be America first. Every decision will be for American welfare, or American workers and American families. We will follow two simple rules: buy American and hire American. And again,
Absolutely.
No mention of Hillary Clinton, no conciliatory mention of Hillary Clinton at all. You'll remember, I think when Bush Jr. got in there, he even mentioned, briefly Al Gore, and
Right.
the fight that they had to get into office, and now we're going to, bury the hatchet, and we're all on one side, and that's the side of America. No mention of Hillary Clinton, no conciliatory olive branch, nothing. And I think that is, again, it's very symbolic. And he also said, when you open your heart to patriotism, there's no room for prejudice. I just really liked it. I think that he's actually got the ability to appeal to the side that hates the man and wanted the witch back in, which I don't understand, because what was the witch going to bring the people on the left? I mean, really, what was the promise? TTP and TTIP and United Nations, and sell us off to the one world government as soon as possible. That was her promise. If there was,
Right.
I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. So
let's not also forget nuclear holocaust, which she would have done.
You're right. World War III, yeah, rabble rousing. Beating the war drums to try to get Putin to take a shot. It's just insanity, and maybe the insanity will cease. Maybe the insanity will stop here for 4 years. That would be terrific, because I believe that the country actually could be turned around economically. And even though we're $20 trillion in debt, which is obviously one of the biggest concerns, I don't think the spending is going to stop. But if we could get our former allies, which are now enemies, China and Russia, if we could begin to have dialogue with these nations,
Correct.
maybe they would be. I don't know. To answer your question, the biggest concern is going to be the dollar. The biggest concern is the debt. The biggest concern is hyperinflation. Does it hit? When will it hit? And how does it look if it hits? I've said for a long time, I've been keeping my eye on that 1988 Economist cover, the Rothschild Economist magazine, with the phoenix rising from a burning pile of ashes. And it says, get ready for a world currency. Okay, that was 29 years ago, man. It's 2017. And around that phoenix's neck was a gold medal that said 2018.
Yep, in Roman numerals.
Are they going to get their world currency? I don't know.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of push and pull. There's a lot of things that are happening, especially in the East with China. I think my friend London Paul said it best. You cannot understand China through Western eyes, and he's absolutely correct. And to really understand what's happening over there, things have really changed. I think the old cabal, the whole Rothschild, Rockefeller, banking conglomerate, they've taken a major blow this time around, man. There's some serious setbacks. I'm hearing reports that George Soros has lost complete control of his bowels. Are you
serious?
He cannot stop shitting. He's soiled every pantsuit he has.
That's hilarious.
These are the initial reports. I mean, of course, I'm being joking, but Soros is next, man. Because here's the thing. You remember the Hungarian president, Viktor Orban, right? He said this. He said, "Now is the time to go after Soros because Trump is elected."
Yeah, that's right.
And they started kicking out the Soros NGOs. They started tightening screws on their funds for these NGOs. Soros knows he's a dead man. He's a dead man walking. and every dead cop that's in the United States, every person that was either killed, hurt, maimed, or every person who's lost or suffered the loss of property, okay, the loss of business, of loss of wealth because of the riots that have occurred over this stupid, Black Lives Matter, which is nothing but a front group that Soros has created to foment racial strife. Okay, all of this could be put on the foot of George Soros. You can bring this to the foothill of George Soros and lay the blame directly at his feet, because this is the guy who was behind this whole entire thing. He's a terrorist. He's a criminal, and I think Trump should go after him. He should use the newly passed JASTA law against Soros. He should also use the Patriot Act against Soros. This guy is an enemy of the state, man, and he has an active fifth column here in this country. We need to do in this country what Vladimir Putin did in Russia, which is kick out these NGOs. Yeah. Kick out this fifth column. That's what we need to do. We need we talk about a house cleaning that needs to be done. It's unreal, Sean. Unreal.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I've been saying the same thing, and you tapped into my gullibility there when you mentioned that he couldn't stop soiling himself. I actually thought, he's in my sources, and I actually for a second thought, are you serious? Because the man should be in Depends. He should be shitting himself, because he has made so many enemies. Any leader of any nation who cares about sovereignty, as Trump has professed to care about, should target George Soros as an enemy of the state. And he should be arrested. He should be tried for his crimes. His crimes are quantifiable and they're epic, and he's an enemy of this country. And I've said for a long time, he's an asset of the Rothschilds. And so what were we going to get with Hillary Clinton? Well, we know from the WikiLeaks emails that she was just, thick as thieves with Lady Rothschild. Buddy, cozy, just lovey emails. And it was Lady Rothschild that held multiple $100,000 per head fundraisers for Hillary. And so what were we going to get? We were going to get the Soros, Rothschild, Clinton cabal heading up this nation and literally taking what's left, it's sending us into a one world government, selling off what little bit of sovereignty we have left to the UN, et cetera, TTP, TTIP. It would have been a nightmare. So I'm hopeful that now we may get something a whole lot better. But I got to ask you this. Have you been watching that George Webb series about Eric Braverman? Where's Eric Braverman, former CEO of Clinton Foundation?
No.
Oh, you got to check it out. This guy's operating at a completely different level, this George Webb.
Wow.
Very, very, very powerful set of videos. And one of the things, what he's doing, he's taking all of the open source information, the on the record information, the investigations, the research that's been done by Cy Hirsch, the information that's been done, Eva Bartlett, really great reporters, WikiLeaks emails. He's taking all of the pieces of the puzzle and he's putting it together, and he's showing the deep state apparatus, which includes, for instance, DynCorp. And one of the red flags that he brought up about what we may or may not get with Trump is the fact that the guy who owns DynCorp, Steve Feinberg, is one of Trump's economic advisors. And DynCorp is knee deep in child trafficking. This goes all the way back to
DynCorp, absolutely. DynCorp and Halliburton as well.
Yeah, that's right. And so DynCorp is knee deep in Haiti, knee deep. Generally, well, in fact, I'll quote George Webb. He said that, and he provided some evidence to support it. The false flag shootings that we've been seeing in this country, San Bernardino being one of the examples, where 3 shooters were seen fleeing, and then, of course, the mainstream Mockingbird media avoids the testimony of the multiple witnesses that saw 3 men dressed in black fleeing. It was pinned on 2 other people. It's George Webb saying that it's DynCorp behind those false flag events, and he backs it up with evidence. I mean, this guy, I'm telling you what, man, he's playing chess at a different level. He's tying things together that even you and I, people that understand the language, we got to struggle to keep up. He's just moving quickly.
I need to check that out, man.
Yeah, 3 to 4 videos a day he's putting out, and he's doing storyboards. So he's showing the pictures. He's showing where the articles are coming from. He's very, very visual as he communicates this very complex information, and it's revealing the deep state, and it's revealing there's 650,000 emails missing that the FBI has said it'll take 5 years to release. And it's those emails that will tell us all about the child trafficking in Haiti, about the Pizzagate, the Petagate, the missing trillions from the Pentagon. It's all tied up in those emails. You got to watch this George Webb series. Honestly, it's the best series on YouTube right now, bar none.
Wow, man, that's incredible. I definitely need to check it out. And see, CJ, we got to get this guy George Webb on, man. Let's get this guy.
Yeah, you guys look into that. It's George Webb on YouTube. The name of the series is Where is Eric Braverman? And now Braverman apparently surfaced in the last day or two, and reportedly he's going to head up, I believe it's Google's foundation, which of course makes George Webb laugh to the degree that that's absurd, that he would leave the criminal Clinton Foundation after he discovered all of the malfeasance and corruption within it. It was rumored that he either fled to the Russian embassy for protection or into FBI custody for protection, fearing for his life. He was vanished for some 86 days, and on day 87 of this series, apparently Braverman has surfaced, and the news is he's going to head up, I think it's Google's foundation, and anybody that knows about Google knows that's deep state as well.
Oh, 1000%. I mean, it's unreal what's happening, man, and these guys are playing revolving door. But the question is, one of the things I do know about Trump is keep your enemies close and keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Yeah.
So,
well, look, I mean, if he delivers on anything he said in the inauguration speech, this government is now yours. That's a powerful statement, because you and I both know that under Clinton, under Obama, and under the Bushes before, that was a cabal that controlled. That was the deep state in control of the government. That was not a government by and for the people. The government was not ours. And if he just does even a fraction of the things that he's talked about, it's going to be a whole lot better than we would have ever gotten from Hillary the Witch Clinton.
Oh, without a doubt, man. And there's something pretty interesting that my buddy Bix Weir has figured out, and he said this. It was so profound. He said, if you remember the hearings for Jeff Sessions, right?
Mm-hmm.
The hearings for Jeff Sessions was pretty interesting in the sense that he had the guy that was the lawyer, the main attorney who took down Bernie Madoff, and this guy who took down Bernie Madoff, Mike Mnuchin, I forgot what this last starts with an M, Minucci or something like that. Mike Minucci, I think it is. And anyway, this guy is the individual who took down Bernie Madoff. It was him and his dad. These guys are American patriots. These guys are like, part of the good guys, so to speak. And it's pretty interesting that, Sessions was sitting there. You have this guy right next to him. And I think it was Barbara Boxer, I think it was, who said, "What are you going to do about all this child trafficking?" That was the last session. That was the last thing she said to Sessions.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was Feinstein, I think, who asked.
Yeah, Feinstein. Yeah, it was Feinstein. Yep. What are you going to do about all of this child trafficking?
Yeah. Did you see Trump's tweet? Because this is very significant. He also, again, if the man does anything that he's talked about, and he's already started. I mean, I don't know if you saw the James Woods tweet, the Hollywood actor, about the 5 things Trump had already done even before president. 4 of them were very significant. The 5th one was like Dow 20,000 or whatever, bunch of BS. But the Trump tweet he sent out was something about perverts. We got to do something about these perverts, swift justice and death penalty. He's talking about the childhood. Did you see that tweet? You got.
Oh no, I missed it. What did he say?
Trump tweet. I'll find it. Here, let's you take over while I find it, and I'll read it to you.
Yeah, no problem. Wow, that's amazing. Again, guys, here's the deal. This is not off the table for all. It was also possible why, guys like Milo Yiannopoulos was down in Maryland or Virginia. He was about to talk about Pizzagate, and he got a phone call. Says, "Don't even talk about it." And then Milo's like, "I can't talk to you about Pizzagate." Something is brewing. Something is clearly in the works, in the background. It's not off the table, guys. I don't think it's off the table. And recently, ABC News, and me and CJ, we talked about it. Hey, CJ, remember that piece that ABC News put out about Pizzagate? Say that it's real?
Yeah, Roger that. There was an actual big story that covered up and asking the questions. They pointed everything in the right direction, and they asked the simple question is this. If you have this much information that potentially something is going on, why hasn't there been any investigation at all?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
did you find it?
Yeah, I did. Trump tweeted this. I'll read this to you specifically. 8:13 a.m. on October 8th. No, I guess this is from 2012. So how long has he known about this? Got to do something about these missing children grabbed by the perverts. Too many incidents. Fast trial, death penalty. That actually, I didn't know that was from 2012. And it reminds me of the Breitbart statement about Podesta.
Yeah.
You know,
could you refresh the audience about that Breitbart statement?
Yeah, it was Breitbart who tweeted out a year before he died that he was shocked that Prague meaning progressive guru, John Podesta, isn't a household name as a world-class cover-upper of child sex traffickers.
Wow.
And that was before anybody knew anything about Pizzagate. So very, very powerful stuff. I mean, this pedo ring, and honestly, this George Webb series on YouTube, he ties it all together, and it goes much, much deeper than just child trafficking. I mean, it's obviously it's arms dealing, it's drug running, it's sex trafficking of women and children, it's organ harvesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the darkest.
That's exactly what ISIS is doing. ISIS is funding themselves with not only petroleum sales that Putin wiped out, now they're funding themselves with organ sales.
Well, don't take your eye off Haiti. Because the Clinton Foundation and the missing billions in Haiti, the Clinton Foundation is just a wrapper. And inside that wrapper is all of this stuff being documented by George Webb with DynCorp, and it goes so much deeper. Naming names, I mean, the names you would recognize. I mean, these people, I got to tell you, man, if the FBI was actually a law enforcement agency trying to enforce the law, they would release those emails and people would be going to prison.
Absolutely. People would be getting in front of a firing squad and executed. Unreal.
So, yeah, we got to see what Jeff Sessions does. We got to see, how the FBI handles itself when there's a real Department of Justice, a department that's actually interested in justice. Let's just see what happens, because under Hillary Clinton, if that witch had gotten in the office, it literally would have been like handing the baton to a mafioso head. I think you said that at the beginning of the interview. These people are mafiosos, and now she has no political cover.
Exactly, man. Absolutely correct. Sean, we're at the end of of your segment, man. Plug your site, your work, and how people could follow you and find you.
Thanks, man. Please check us out at sgtreport.com. We try to bring you real news 24/7 from trusted sources, a variety of alt media sources, many of whom have been named by the Washington Post as being fake news. That's how you know that they're actually real news. And check us out at thephaser.com. I hand select really cool videos and things to share there. And the libertymill.com. And I'm also on Twitter at SGT Report. So thanks, man. I enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for having me on.
It's always fun. It's always fun, Sean. Thank you so much. And guys, again, check out Sean's work. I'm a huge fan of his work. I'm a subscriber to his site. Love it. Absolutely love it. So check it out. Sean, thank you so much, buddy. Have an awesome day. Enjoy your Nobama Day, brother.
All right. Happy Nobama Day, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye. With that being said, folks, we have none other than the professor himself, Ken the Shotgun Schortgen, has joined us. Kenny, happy Nobama Day, bro.
Nobama drinks around the table.
Talk to me, dude. How is your Nobama Day working out, and how you feeling?
Well, I don't know if you saw my tweet last night.
What'd you say?
I put it out there. I said, I said, guaranteed no assassination attempt on Trump.
Yep.
Because the last two presidents who had an assassination attempt on them, George Bush Sr. was in the vicinity. And since he wasn't going to Washington, you knew that Trump was safe.
Yep. Yeah, Poppy Bush was not in the vicinity there. So yeah, you're right about that.
So, yeah, the things I got out of it is it was really the stage was set during the speech, the inaugural speech. He went after the establishment right there. The shackles are off. He had kept things confused for a purpose for all of the different press conferences and the meetings and all that. The other thing was, the term where he said near the end, for all those who are all talk and no action, that was a pure and simple jab at John Lewis, because that's what he tweeted at John Lewis 2 days ago. Exactly. And John Lewis is the leader of the ones who didn't show up. That set aside, why is he going so much for the people? Why is he bringing the people on board? Because of the fact that since he's going to be, and he has to be, the most transparent president, this is one where we're going to have the most transparent president, because Congress is not going to go down without a fight. And he needs the people to be willing to make the phone calls, to hold them accountable, to screech and moan so that Congress can't obfuscate and play these games that they've done with this gridlock for the past 8 years, for the wars. All Trump has to do is do a quick little press conference, do a tweet, continuous tweets, for every bill. To tell the truth, every bill that comes out, especially the appropriations bills, he needs to go and he needs to do like a 20-minute segment and saying, okay, this bill does this, this, this. Oh, by the way, they threw in this rider that has nothing to do, like they did with the NDAA into the defense appropriations bill, and just do boom, 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 and then save the people who are the sponsors and co-sponsors, and continuously hold Congress accountable over and over and over and over and over. If he does that, then the people will rise up. The other thing, I wrote an article this morning regarding the lies that the Obama administration had done about the amount of student loan defaults. And I suddenly thought of a way that Trump could grab all the millennials to his side in one fell swoop. And that was repealing George Bush's 2007 bankruptcy law. And then put in that you can put your student loans under the bankruptcy law, because here's the thing. Back in the day, student loans were, in Sallie Mae, were tied to commercial banks. They're not. They're tied to government guarantees. So instead of wiping away student debt, by going through a bankruptcy, what you do is you tell these millennials, look, there is a consequence for your actions, but it doesn't mean that it has to hold you down for your lifetime. So they might have a bankruptcy on there. They might learn a lesson. And you know what? Trump is the king of dealing with bankruptcy. He understands that it's not a death sentence, but it's actually a learning process. And what does it do also? What are the two most important keys that the millennials will have in this economy? First,
jobs.
Well, forget the jobs for the moment. Everybody needs jobs. But what are the two things that the system needs the millennials desperately more than anything? They need them to buy houses. And until they get this student loan debt and other obligations off their back, they aren't going to buy squat. But what's the second thing? Well, starting in January, we have now the 4th year of baby boomers turning 70 and a half, and now being forced to dump their 401ks or mutual funds or stocks to pay deferred taxes to Uncle Sam. This is, the first year in 2013, there was only $9 billion that was there was $9 billion more in distributions than there were in contributions. The second year went up to 26.4. Now we are going to start exponentially over the next 15 years, where you're going to get somewhere to $500 billion to $1 trillion in distributions more than contributions. Just like Social Security, what does Wall Street need? They need these millennials putting money into retirement funds. So by taking this off in one fell swoop, not only does he accomplish something that Sanders and Hillary, what the millennials had hoped was going to happen, hoping to happen if they came in, erase their student loan debts. But here you erase the student loan obligations, even though they have to go through bankruptcy. You allow it to be discharged, and then you start allowing them to put money into the economy. So you get the best of both worlds with repealing the 2007 Bush bankruptcy law, and then allow student loans to go in there. And then once those are all taken care of, you get the bloody government out of the student loan business.
Absolutely, man. They need to stop subsidizing college tuition. It is absolutely wrecked things.
You put it back in the private sector, guess what? All these universities who knew that they were going to get free money because the government was backstopping everything, the price of education goes down and people can afford it. Wow, isn't that going to be the new healthcare model?
Exactly.
This is why the media and Congress and all these pundits who are brainwashed in the mental, as Michael Savage said, liberalism is a mental disorder.
I agree.
Well, same thing with Keynesianism. Keynesianism is the same thing, that you think that you can continuously create credit, not realizing that expanding the money supply is the natural law of inflation, and eventually that trickles down into price inflation. Well, if you take all these things out from these middlemen, to tell the truth, I heard a interview maybe a week ago, about a guy whose father came over to the United States and dealt with insurance. And back in the 50s and 60s, he would sell catastrophic health insurance policies. Now, the maximum that the insurance policies would pay was only $5,000.
Yeah.
He said in his entire 25 years of working in this industry, not a single person ever made a claim on those insurance policies, because every time they went to the hospital, they could have a surgery and stay there for 2 weeks, whatever. They never reached that $5,000 point.
Right. Exactly.
That's how you do it, is you get it completely out, let competition in there. The other thing is you take away the regulations that force hospitals to do, umpteen different types of tests that are unnecessary. Yes. And you pass legislation that, unless it's an egregious malpractice consequence, that you can't sue the doctors.
Yeah,
that's been the problem, is the doctors don't care anymore, because they know they've got insurance to cover malpractice, and it jacks up the cost of the whole thing. You get rid of the administrators, you get rid of most of the individuals who are part of the system. I mean, think about it. One of the things Trump does is he puts one level of management over all of his different programs. One level of management. And that one level of management works directly with the foreman and the workers. There's no middleman thing. You might have an HR department that works for encompasses all of his different businesses, but you don't have too many levels of bureaucracy that do nothing.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what he's going to bring to the administration.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And most people don't understand this, Ken. People are like, oh, Trump had 4 bankruptcies. Yeah, he had 4 bankruptcies on 4 companies. But the guy runs 515 corporations.
Not only that, you know what the biggest lie that's been going around, of course, is that, well, Trump got his money from his father. Well, guess what? You know how Warren Buffett got started?
His father.
He went to his neighbors, and his neighbors and friends of his, gave him $30,000 to start. He didn't use his money. He used the other people's money.
Right.
So most people who are rich do not do it with their own money. This is why most liberals and that don't understand business, and they never will.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. And not only that, I mean, his father gave him $1 million loan in the most cutthroat real estate market in the entire world, which is New York. You know how many people start off with $1 million, even 10 million, even 20, even 30, and then blow it in a couple of years? For him to take a $1 million loan and turn it into a multi-billion-dollar business, that's just incredible, man. Incredible.
Hey, absolutely. People got to ask right now, if Barack Obama was just he wasn't a tenured professor. He was a visiting professor doing a few college work. He was working pseudo for the unions as a community organizer. How the hell is he buying 3 mansions? Yeah, the liberals don't want to talk about that, do they?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So it's going to be fun. I expect the economy. Frankly, the thing about it is anybody who's going to make predictions about what Trump is going to do at this point, I don't listen to their conclusions. Here's the fact of the matter. Dr. Jim Willey said back in 2013, just before the U.S. went in and did the Maidan coup over in Ukraine, Jim Willey said there was about 120 to 140 nations that had secretly signed a currency reset treaty. And the U.S. decided that they were going to, the neocons and the establishment said, hey, we're going to give up power with the reserve currency. So we can't do this. We're going to create a war and then start the fomenting against Russia.
Right.
So the thing about it is I can almost guarantee, look, China has debt and their currency is at a certain point. They have the gold. China, Japan, Europe, even Germany, Russia, a lot of these major countries, economies, are going to be willing, if Trump goes in there and says, you know what, let's just absolve the debt, do a pseudo Bretton Woods, pretend that it's Europe after World War II when everything is devastated, destroyed, and they can't pay back the debts, start a type of Jubilee currency reset that's going to be gold-backed, and we will move it into that joint type of thing. You know, I can understand having the IMF sort of basket of currencies, but not under the IMF. Yes. If we change it over, the AIB is in charge of it, and it's going to be gold-backed, and then we go ahead and do a currency reset, absolve most of the global debt. Guess what? Prosperity. That's how you deal with a bankruptcy.
Absolutely correct, man. That's exactly how you deal with it. And plus, at the same time, building up the massive amount of physical industry, of physical economy. I mean, look at the amount of factories that are coming back to the United States. The car, GM, BMW is going to be expanding. Volkswagen is expanding here. Toyota is going to be coming back here. Fiat is coming back. I mean, it's going to be a boom, and it's going to help us all the more that when we do go through this reset, to have a functioning physical economy, which makes me laugh all the more every time I heard that idiot Obama out there saying, well, how's it going to bring those jobs back? Those jobs are gone.
Well, if you don't know how to create jobs in the first place, guess what?
That's true. He's a community organizer.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my God. Kenny, we're about 3 minutes left, man. Your closing comments, and then afterwards, bro, give out how people could follow you, your websites, and all your social media.
Yeah, the most important thing, I believe, is that Donald Trump, if you want to go and check out the interview he did with German newspapers last weekend, and the fact of what he did with his speech today, standing in front of the establishment, everything he said he's going to do, he's going to try to do. And so take him at his word at that. If it's a delay, if it takes time to do this, well, you know what? This has taken generations to build this establishment and this quagmire that is the swamp. It's going to take time to get rid of it, and there's not going to be victories at every turn. But the fact of the matter is that Trump's calling on the people, and if the people want this swamp to be drained, it's going to be drained.
Yeah.
And you can check me out over at thedailyeconomist.com. That's my website. Or YouTube, just put in The Daily Economist. You'll find me there. I do podcasts, almost like a daily newspaper of important economic and geopolitical articles that are out there, ones I've written and ones that people need to pay attention to. You can do that 3 days a week. And other than that, stick with Rogue Money, and the team is going to become the establishment's new media.
Absolutely, brother. Well said. We are the new media, Ken. That's what we are. Thank you so much, guys. And again, check out Ken's site. Love Ken's work. He's been with me since the beginning. Love the guy. Kenny, thank you so much, buddy.
Donka, talk to you soon.
Take care, bud. Have a good one. With that being said, we have the bee in Eden buzzing around. Happy Obama Day, Bankster Slayer.
Oh, what a day, huh?
What a day indeed, Deb. I mean, wow. I mean, I was watching all of it. I was taking it all in. I was looking at the sour face, the angry face of Michelle Obama. I just can't shake it from my mind. It's going to probably haunt me in my nightmares tonight, how Michelle was so angry. But other than that, great day. How was your Obama Day?
Well, I'm enjoying another glass of champagne right now.
Yes!
California domestic one, yes.
Yes.
And I want to mention something about Michelle Obama. You were saying what a nasty, bitchy look she had on her face.
Oh my God! I mean, just like pissed off, like ugh.
Well, Lionel of Lionel Media, whose YouTube I follow every day, he has a little 30-minute sermon he does every day. Mm-hmm. He said yesterday that it's pretty well known among the White House staff that the Obamas had a knockdown, drag-out fight.
Wow.
So there's a little unhappiness in paradise.
Absolutely.
Anyway, hey, let's talk about
Absolutely.
this gorgeous first lady we have. Oh man, Jackie
Oh my
Kennedy
God.
is back, baby.
Jackie Kennedy is back. What a beautiful outfit that Melania
Oh,
Trump had. Absolutely classy. Very, very
yes.
classy.
Yeah, I was searching to see if there's, opinions now about the fashion trends that will be set. Of course, watch for this to happen on the streets of New York.
Yeah.
Women are going to start dressing like women again.
That would be great. I mean, my God. I mean, what a role model Melania is. Especially Ivanka. Like
Oh, yeah.
Ivanka's incredible. I mean, she's an absolutely wonderful person. Here's a professional working mother who's absolutely beautiful, head to toe, stunning. She's married. She has 3 kids. She balances a career. She's extremely feminine without being, like this crass, idiot like you see with the Kardashians. And these Instagram whores. It's refreshing, and I think this is what young women should aspire to be: be emboldened, be powerful, be feminine, and you can, I mean, Ivanka Trump. Need I say more? Need I say more? There's your role model, ladies. There it is. Bam. All the young girls out there.
Yeah, and we've talked about colors before, and I don't know if W will have anything more to offer, but the panorama that we saw was Melania Trump wearing a sky blue color. There's a lot of things that are associated with that. One is peacefulness and the sky, a sense of heaven. And the other 2 girls, Ivanka and
it was Ralph Lauren who did her dress.
It was a Ralph Lauren outfit.
Ralph Lauren.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was wearing her blue gloves, very Jackie, wearing those gloves with shoes to match. And I was wondering, why wasn't she wearing a hat? Because the weather was really bad, and Jackie would have worn a hat. Well, look at what she's got on her ears, baby. She's got ice that you can. I was reading this article from theguardian.com, just posted this afternoon from the fashion section. The writer says, those diamonds sparkled, you could see them from space.
Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree. You can see the beautiful, beautiful, stunning rocks. And what's the significance of this? Do you notice that Mike Pence and Donald Trump had a Bible on top of the Bible that they were swearing in?
Yeah.
They didn't want to swear in by the traditional Bible, like that they always use. I know the traditional Bible they use has some Masonic connotations to it. They wanted the real deal, Holyfield, right on top of that thing. Because I knew that the Bible that they traditionally would do it on had a lot of occult significance. Is that true? I mean,
yeah, there probably is. And I haven't looked into that, but that's a good topic for me to look up and write and post later on Rogue Money. Yeah, you're right. The choice of the Bible is always really important at the oath.
Yeah, and they both decided not to use the typical Bible that's used in every single presidential ceremony. I think Pence had like Reagan's Bible on there, and then Trump had his own. And they would not use the one that's given by that was basically every president would have their hand on it. I know there's some cult significance to that specific Bible. So for them, to me, in a way, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but in a way, for them to put their own Bibles on top of that occultic type Bible was their way of saying, hey, we're not part of the system. We're not swearing an oath to any of this. We're not part of this whole ritual. It really is a changing of the guard, man. I could sense it. You could sense it in the air, Deb.
Oh yeah, it's the war on the establishment. And speaking of the Bible, that's he's starting it with that. We're even looking at the roots of the establishment. Let's look at the real roots of what has been controlling us for all these hundreds of years.
Right.
Speaking of that, I mean, I posted the article yesterday, the connection between Nikola Tesla and the Trump family is astounding.
Really? Go through that for us bit by bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Well, let me ask you, what does the J of Donald J. Trump stand for?
John, James?
Yes, John was his uncle.
Oh, okay.
Who was Donald J. Trump's uncle? John G. Trump, a physicist who specialized in the field of radar in the 40s.
Oh, wow.
And when Nikola Tesla died in 1943, John Trump was picked by the FBI to enter into that hotel room and personally analyze all of Nikola Tesla's private papers.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about a man who had access to everything Tesla was imagineering for the future. Now, he told the FBI that there was nothing to worry about in these papers, that Tesla had a very big vision. But actually, what the FBI was afraid, they wanted to know if there was anything sensitive in the papers or anything that would put this country in danger from that information maybe having been shared by foreign powers. So Trump, he reassured the government that they can just move along. There's nothing to see here. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Nothing to see there. Wow. That's a remarkable connection. I never knew that.
I didn't either, and I was stumbling around, looking at Donald Trump's official Wikipedia page, which it is mentioned in his Wikipedia article, and nothing in that page would be there unless Donald Trump wanted you to see it.
Right. Right.
And from that page, I linked over to it was an article written last year I have linked in our blog, and it was during the campaign. And the woman who wrote the article was expanding on that a little bit more. But Donald don't underestimate the knowledge this man has, even though he himself is not a nuclear physicist. He knew his uncle for decades. Their lives overlapped, and there was plenty of conversation and plenty of who knows whatever family secrets or family archives. We don't know what that family has.
Correct. I'm sure there was, right?
Right, it was. Well, the what I mentioned in the article is Mr. John Trump is known for some medical device. His work in radar was really with medical applications and radiation, cancer treatment. And then when the war hit, he went into the military or worked for the Defense Department. But he teamed up with another physicist and is known for certain inventions that are definitely tied to the use of Tesla coils and, Tesla technology. So we'll see. This is something that has been a running theme of Joseph Farrell's work, that we always, human society seems to be caught in this constant war between people who want to keep the knowledge of free energy suppressed versus those who want to open it up.
Correct.
And I will say, even in Farrell's works, he points to the pre-1930 rise of the German Empire as a society who was pointing to the open. They wanted to use that kind of energy in an open situation. That's why they backed out of the Jewish-controlled banking system. They felt that they needed to come up with a way to get control of their monetary system, just like this country is in that same position now. There are so many repetitions of history we're watching. Even as I was listening to Trump's speech, I was thinking about the rhetoric and the language that was being used in pre-World War II Germany. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because they had been placed in that position by a much larger international network of power brokers. Germany had been backed into a corner, and they had to do something to bring, pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Well, this country's in a very similar position. And the language that came out in that speech today was a lot like that. I don't mean that in a bad way, but hopefully we're seeing the rise of a whole new era that is going to advance the use of, hopefully, free energy systems.
I tend to agree with you, because here's the deal. You and I both know, Deb, that approximately about a year or so ago, there was some fusion reactors that were basically the size of suitcases that were being paraded around Russia and brought into science fairs in Russia, showing how this little suitcase can power whole cities.
Right.
So it's out there. It's definitely possible. And if Trump is somebody who has been influenced by his uncle, and he's mentioned his uncle many times on the campaign trail.
Many times, yes.
Oh, my Uncle John, who was an MIT, he's a genius. You know, he was tremendous genius. He was just incredible. He did huge things, and he was always mentioning his Uncle John. So I'm sure they have talks about this. Trump's a very, very aware person. It's amazing how he thinks. It really is. And people think he's an idiot. He's not an idiot. He's freaking brilliant. You don't build a multi-billion-dollar company, outmaneuver the globalists, destroy the Clintons, end forever the Bush family legacy of running for politics ever again, and being an idiot. You don't do that. And people don't understand that. And people who are so quick to call him an idiot are idiots themselves.
Right. And you can see this in what he's done now with the use of Twitter and can totally bypass the mainstream. It's dead. Mainstream media is dead. He totally understands. He must have this great understanding and insight about the way human psychology works. He knew that it starts with gaining control of the flow of information.
Right.
And I was theorizing this on Twitter the other day. If you were Trump and you wanted to start your own news network, and you're also an LBO, leverage buyout king, wouldn't you take an existing news network and run it into the ground so that you can pick it up for pennies? And it's got all the
Who do you think it's going to be? You think it's going to be CNN or is it going to be MSLSD?
He's got a buffet, baby. Just take your pick.
He absolutely does. It's a buffet because think of this guy that during the first press conference he's given in 77 days. There's that lucky number 7 again.
Oh,
and so, in 77 days he gives a press conference, and the CNN reporter is berating him, and he says, "Look, you're out of turn. You're fake news.
Yeah.
You're fake news." And the fact that Jeff Zucker, the CEO of CNN, is out there saying, "Our credibility has never been higher." Unbelievable. It's like the New York Times saying that everything's wonderful, everything's great, while they're renting out the first 8 floors of their office because they can't afford to pay their own rent. But everything's great. Their credibility has never been higher. Meanwhile, their advertising revenue is down 96%. Right. Unbelievable. These people's days are numbered, Deb.
It is. They're going to get their wake-up call when all of a sudden those checks from George Soros stop showing up.
Hey, George, you got to pay us, George. George, leave me alone, you idiot. I'm hiding from Donald Trump. I can feel him. He's breathing down my back. I have to change my Depends. I got to go.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
I would have liked to have seen the reactions at the Kremlin today.
They were celebrating, I heard. Russia was in celebration. Sure. They were congratulating Trump. They were absolutely happy. Here's the deal, Deb. At the end of the day, we averted nuclear war.
Yes. Right.
And that's anybody should be happy. Look, I know what the SA-18 Sarmat nuclear ICBM missile could do to the United States. It will absolutely level us. We can't stop it. We can't intercept it. And this is where people say, "Well, you don't understand. We have advanced alien technology. These UFOs that look, it would have been a very bad predicament for us either way." And I'm glad nuclear war has been averted. And now it's time to go after the perverts. We had Sean on earlier, Deb.
I heard that.
Yeah. What's your take? What do you think is going to be going down this year?
That will be something when they really attack that problem. That's going to be tied into full-on exposure of the entire international network. Pizzagate isn't just some small local thing. This is a network, part of other networks, part of a bigger network.
Yeah. And
we were just he was just talking about the year 2012, and I'm telling you, that case that happened with Coach Sandusky in the Penn State case, that is not over. That thing was squashed so that Sandusky could not take the stand and spill the beans on everything.
Right.
But there's people who know, and but we're talking about something that is so deep and so far.
Didn't the lead prosecutor wasn't he like just like mysteriously disappeared?
Yeah, I think something like that happened. There's been
Yeah,
a lot of
I never
people
heard
were
of it.
shut up about this.
Oh my God! But there's nothing to see here, folks. You know, lead prosecutors, they vanish all the time. There's nothing to see here. This is after all Al Capone's Chicago, where prosecutors and DAs disappear. I mean, what in God's name, man? Unbelievable.
Right. And I remember, well, of course, in the heart of London is where it's been really bad for years. And I remember one of the lead police investigators says, we simply don't have the manpower we need to go and round everybody up. It's so bad.
Wow. What are they doing with their manpower? Oh, I know what they're doing with their manpower. They're ticketing people. They're issuing, tickets at red light cameras. People who have like some sort of statutes violations. They're too busy doing that instead of actually doing the law. They're doing tax collecting instead of actually doing the law.
Right. I know.
Unreal. Unreal.
Hey, isn't it Monday that the Syrian peace talks start in Astana? Isn't it in Kyrgyzstan? Or I always forget the mixed up.
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. Yeah, it's right.
Yeah, can you believe how beautiful Astana is?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the architecture?
It is beautiful, and that's where the space program, isn't that where all the launches happen in us? Isn't that the country where the Russian space program is, right? So there's a lot of money poured into there, but
oh my God, it's unreal. It's that's what it is. It's unreal. It truly is. Yeah, it's going to start on Monday.
Right, which they obviously timed for after when Trump could be president, because now an invitation has been sent to him if he wants to participate in it. They weren't going to have Obama in there anymore. We're done with you.
No,
that's going to be interesting. Whatever is going to be the first meeting between Putin and Trump. Boy,
I'm excited to see that, Deb.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited to see that. I think that meeting is going to be very pivotal. I think it's the new world reordered.
Right.
What are the snowflakes are going to do? What happened to this huge protest that are going to come down? I mean, the media was clearly hyping up the numbers, saying there are 250,000 protesters descending upon Washington D.C. right now, and they take a picture. There's like 30 guys hanging out, eating donuts and sipping coffee. I'm like, what's going on here?
Right. They're all waiting for the rain to stop.
Yeah, that's it. They all ran inside. As soon as it started drizzling, the snowflakes ran inside. They can't stand to be out in the cold. Hey, ho ho! I am so stupid and I have to go. Hey, ho ho! So stupid, these people.
Right.
Shouting slogans like what is it? No Trump, no KKK, no fascism in the USA. I mean, these guys are idiots. These cognitively dissonant, brain dead morons.
You're like, is that the best you can come up with? Seriously?
Well, it took all their snowflake might to come up with their snowflake chance.
Right.
It's a lot of it's hard being a snowflake, especially in Trump's. I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to have to get an alarm clock, Deb. Did you hear about that?
No.
Trump's taking away all the Obama phones, giving everybody alarm clocks. And the way he's going to, when people are, how are we going to communicate? He's putting payphones back in like those areas that
there you go.
With heavy Obama phone usage. Here's a payphone, and here's an alarm clock. Well, what do we need an alarm clock? You're going back to work. I love it. Taking back the Obama phones and giving out alarm clocks.
Yeah, exactly.
Deb, we got a minute left. So how do you plug your site, plug your channel?
All my stuff, all the stuff you need to find me is at the top of my webpage at slaythebankster.com. That'll jump you to my YouTube channel and to the articles I post at roguemoney.net.
Awesome. And Deb is one of my superstars over at Rogue Money. She is the queen of the esoteric.
Yeah.
I will see you later, Deb.
Okay.
Take care of yourself. Enjoy your weekend. Don't drink too heavily. All right.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye-bye. CJ, what's going on, man?
Wow, just an amazing past several. How long we've been going now, V? An hour, over an hour, and just some amazing stuff. And I'm just thankful now. There's a recent video that shows Bill Clinton. He's stalking on Melania Trump. Have you seen that yet?
Well, he's stalking Melania. He's stalking Ivanka. I mean, I tell you right now, I saw Melania walk in that sky blue dress. It reminded me of the dress that Monica had on. I couldn't help myself.
And with that being said, V, I want to, just turn it over now to you because we have our next.
Oh yes. The man
here.
Gus Demas from Perpetual Assets is joining us. Gus Demas, who is right now refreshed himself on the tears of many, many liberals. Gus, what's up, buddy?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good, man. I'm enjoying my No-Obama day. How's your No-Obama day doing, bro?
I've been listening to you guys all afternoon. You guys and the guests have done a wonderful job. It's been great. I only have one criticism.
Sure.
You got to go tequila on a day like today instead of champagne.
Yes, you're right. Tequila.
I've got to interject here because I started out at mimosas, and he messaged me that he was going to be drinking Bloody Marys all day. So I'm sorry.
I was gonna go Bloody Marys, but I'm like, that's kind of for Sundays. I'm like, tequila makes me a more funny troll to the liberals. So if I'm going straight tequila, and I could just troll, like today's been split between working and then like trolling liberals. So it's the first thing I did when I woke up. I'm like, all right, let me have my coffee. Within like an hour of my coffee, I had a few drinks, and I'm like, all right. So I took a picture of myself from a couple of years ago, eating at like this with a bib on, eating just lobster, all you can eat lobster thing with my like lobster juice dripping down my chin. Oh yeah, and then I tagged myself all over social media, and I'm like, white privilege with warm butter sauce on it.
Yes. Nice. You triggered a lot of people with that one. A lot of triggering going on.
It's been the last 72 hours have been all. I just want to trigger people. People are setting themselves on fire in the streets.
Yes.
That was awesome. That guy was hilarious. He couldn't even do it. Like he couldn't go through, like some beta male pansy. Obviously, he failed at it. The greatest form of protest would have just been like, dude, just get a vasectomy and stop reproducing.
The greatest form of protest is for him to castrate himself.
Yes,
on the steps of Trump Towers. Just castrate yourself live.
Don't have. We have enough beta males in the world. Just stop reproducing. Yeah, get a vasectomy and we'll be good to go. I don't know if you saw last night. Did you see Tucker Carlson last night? Some kid. Like they interviewed some like 10-year-old setting fires to the streets and whatnot.
Oh no, I missed that. I saw the clip of the video, but not the video, but the actual like a screen capture of it. Like what was going on with that freaking stupid kid?
Dude, it was like a 10-year-old kid, and I swear to God, like after he started speaking, you're like, oh my God, it's like Damien from The Omen. Obviously some liberals brought their kid to riot and loot, like this 10-year-old. And they interviewed him like, what are you doing? And it's like, I set fire because I want to. Screw our president. And the kid's like 10 years old. And I'm like, what? And you're like, unknowingly, like this indoctrinated 10-year-old has become like a poster child for eugenics. I'm like, what the hell? They're losing, and they're destroying shit today too. Today's no different. So yeah, it's been awesome. It's been an awesome couple days, and today's been great. And again, you guys, not to tickle your testicles, but you guys have done a great job today.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it, man. Yesterday, I think 2 days ago on our morning show, I was giving instructions on, because all these libtards are all of a sudden now they're Second Amendment advocates. They're trying to buy guns to protect themselves against Trump and the brown shirts that'll be coming for him. They'll be coming for them and stuff. So they're all getting guns. So I was instructing the libtards who never fired a water gun in their life, they've never fired a BB gun in their life, how to properly load a firearm, how to position it carefully into their mouth at the correct angle, because we want as much brain splatter as possible, because the last thing you want to do, libtard, is to pull the trigger and the angle is off and the bullet comes out of your eye, missing your brain. We want maximum brain splatter. We want to be ensured that your thoughts and ideas are splattered against the wall alongside your brain matter. So that's the...
I'm trying to figure out what they're bitching about. I'm like, are you mad about the jobs he's creating, or
yes,
the fact, or the fact that he's holding vendors' feet to the fire and saving us money on that side of the balance sheet?
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, sovereign balance sheets really aren't that difficult. They're like every other balance sheet. It's just you have tax revenue as one side and you have spending as the other. And before he's taken office, he's basically like kicking ass on both sides of the balance sheet. So I'm wondering what people are freaking out. I mean, are you freaking out that people are, creating jobs now in this country again? Are you freaking out that Lockheed Martin and Boeing are kissing our ass to give us discounts? What are you pissed about? He's done more in like 2 months of not being president than Obama's done in 8 years of being president. Syria is like at peace all of a sudden. That's amazing. It's so far he's overexceeded expectations, and they're like, he was mean to a girl once.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he said grab him by the what. Grab him by the kitty cat. It was horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
You're spot on, dude. The liberals they've rediscovered the Bill of Rights. They've rediscovered. I saw some Rachel Maddow. Like they become neocons almost. Like Rachel Maddow was like, "Is he going to withdraw troops from the Russian border?" Like you have like a Stanford poli-sci grad who all of a sudden wants to like conduct Napoleonic marches east to overthrow the Tsar. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on here?
Seriously, man.
I thought you were liberal. So yeah, now they're like warmongering neocons, which is, if you study politics historically, that's where the neocons came from anyway. They're all converted liberals to begin with. So now they could go back home to roost where they came from if they'd like.
Absolutely.
It's been a wonderful day.
Oh, it's been a great day, man. And idiots like Rachel Maddow doesn't know their history whatsoever. I mean, a famous World War II general said it best. It wasn't World War II. It was a Cold War general. He said it best. He said, there's 3 types of stupid. There's stupid, there's really stupid, and then there's invading Russia. Those are the 3 types of stupids you want to avoid. And you got Maddow out there, doesn't know anything. This clipped hair little, like, what are you? This, and just out there like, this is your life now. This is your reality. This is not a nightmare. No, this is your nightmare. Get the heck out of the U.S. Just leave, you fifth column morons. I can't stand these people anymore, bro.
So for shits and giggles, like right after the inauguration, I was going back and forth between Fox is too easy, so I was going back and forth between MSNBC and CNN.
Yeah,
and it was awesome, dude. Like, just I swear to God, within like 5 minutes, it was some combination of Chris Matthews saying, if Kim Jong-un is going to invade, now is the time, kind of thing. And
wow.
Then was like 3 or 4 minutes later, he was like, I can't believe they didn't pay Hillary more homage during the speech. Like,
what a retard! Like, remember
just
when
losers,
Obama
just
got elected?
losers.
He's such losers. Remember when Obama got elected? He goes, "Oh, I felt a thrill, a chill run down my leg." I'm like, "Yo, do you want a cigarette? Do you want a time to yourself? Do you want to go get a room, bro? Here's some lotion. I'll see you later."
like he was at a Bangkok brothel. Unbelievable.
Yeah. He was in a Bangkok brothel with a bunch of lady boys. Oh, I felt a thrill down my leg.
No,
every time he speaks, that's what he said. Every time he speaks, I get a thrill running down my leg. I'm like, oh my God, did you just say that?
They're still in total meltdown, dude. It's insane to watch. It doesn't matter what, if I'm pulling up the New York Times or the Washington Post or MSNBC or CNN, God, and I love the way the fake news thing has been thrown back in their face.
Oh, that's the best.
But they're still in total meltdown. It's crazy. But that kind of leads into what I was talking about earlier with the tequila. What drives them the craziest is when you make fun of them, like when you laugh at them and just laugh and make like sarcastic one-liners. That drives them batshit nuts. They really, Milo, I think I got that from Milo. He's like, you just got to laugh at him. And he was right. Like, it drives them batshit crazy.
Absolutely right, man. I mean, he's got it absolutely right. The thing with Milo did a great job in terms of, just making fun of these guys, exposing them for who they are. And it was hilarious to see the meltdown that these libtards, they get so triggered. These snowflakes, these coddled little babies who never got used to losing because they're they got the everybody's a winner award, everybody's get a trophy. Have you
what happens. Dude, you know who else is super does it? Both super do it incredibly informative, but also very funny. Crowder, you would love Crowder.
I love Steven Crowder.
Dude, his Young Turks impression is the greatest thing ever.
The best. I wonder what Chunk Uger is doing. Chunk, that brown turd. What is he doing?
Dude, and he does your girlfriend Kasperian, and he goes, the Armenian genocide never happened.
It never happened. It never happened. The Armenian genocide never happened. Okay,
So, Crowder,
you're just an effing asshole. You're just an effing asshole. You fat.
Crowder does it right, and another super funny guy,
Gavin.
is Gavin McGinnis. Absolutely, dude. He just got into it in the street last night. So
I
protesters.
saw the video. It was great.
Yeah, dude. They're like, yeah. He goes, the crazy basement dweller goes, "Do you want some?" And Gavin goes, "Yeah, I do want some."
And he goes up and starts hitting him, and the guy's like, "Stop! What are you doing? Stop!"
Safe space alert, rape whistle. Oh my God, no, it's been great, man. And the hysteria, I think, and I think it was you were talking about it with X22.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned, is this is this it? Is this are they done? Unfortunately, my 2 cents on it is it's never done, dude. This is a generational war. It's a cultural war, and it is generation. What's the Jefferson cliche? The price of freedom is eternal vigilance, or whatever. Right. Time elapses between tyranny. Time elapses between central banks. Our country's 3 central banks. It's not as though, we won. Let's just go to sleep now. No. It's even if this is going to be good for a while. This is something we're gonna have to pass down to our children. Like, here's what happens with tyranny. This is how finance and banking works. This is how government overreach works. Like, this is an ongoing struggle forever. There will always be evil on Earth. There will always be, and we have to remain vigilant and keep ourselves informed and keep the generations after us informed. And it's an ongoing battle. We just happen to be on a high right now. But those are my 2 cents on it. But that's what I believe anyway.
Absolutely, man. I totally agree with you. And the whole thing is, brother, when we look at this is a generational war. This is, if you want to talk about a great opportunity, this is an opportunity for those who sat in the sidelines, you thought about it for a long time. You want to enter the information war. You want to enter the culture war. Now's the time to do it, because we've beaten these guys so badly. People keep talking about, they keep throwing out the term alt media. I call us the new media. That's what we are. We're the new media. Outlets like us that are out there that we're spreading the news, that on the forefront of information. Anybody out there that's listening to this, you thought about starting a blog, being more involved, getting a YouTube channel up. Do it. And like what Gus says, go out there, start teaching the future generations. This is a culture war. We got at least 50 years, 40 years of liberal programming that needs to go. It needs to be undone, and we need to make these kids into winners. We need to make them into understanding what self-responsibility is and what failure is and how to recover from it.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't have said it better. Me and my business partner, I don't know about you two guys, but me and my business partner, we were like students of all this and listeners to shows and all of that before we went out and did our own thing. So yeah, get involved. Everyone should be involved. And even if you don't want to get involved, even if someone's going to stay at their 9 to 5 and for a Fortune 1000 or whatever, that's fine. Just, we're all awake, and as down as I became over the last 6-7 years, as depressed as I would get at times. And I'm like, these people are, I can't even preach this stuff anymore. Look how it all turned out. Like on this day, I feel pretty good about the last. It sucked the last 7 years, but I feel pretty good about how things have turned out, at least for today. So let's keep it going. Let's not fall asleep. Let's not rest in our hands. Let's keep it going and keep an eye on these people.
Right, and now's the time to fight. And speaking of MAGA and making America great again, how can people make themselves great again, man? You got a great company with a great service, man. Why don't you tell a little bit about what you do? A little shameless plug here, but you know what? You guys do a great job, and there's people that actually, that listened to you the last time you were on and took advantage of what you had to offer and really helped them out big time. I got the emails from people saying they love dealing with you and your partner, Will. You guys treated them very well. So why don't you describe what Perpetual Assets is really about and how important it is in a time like this, man?
I appreciate the kind words, and just like our president, I'm never above a shameless plug. We deal mostly in two solutions. Our bread and butter and our most popular solution, what we kind of founded the company on, is LLC IRAs, and at a very there's a lot of moving parts and structuring, and that's what you're paying us for. But at a very simple level, it's a way for clients to take total control of their retirement account. Most of our clients come to us because they want to buy gold and silver and keep it under their pillow, or decide where it's stored, or whatever, or they want to buy Bitcoin. We have a lot of clients that are into Bitcoin. So
nice.
You could actually take a retirement account, any type of retirement account you have. We set up an LLC IRA for you, and it allows you to buy metals and decide where they're held. And it allows you to buy Bitcoin, allows you to buy foreign. It allows you to buy almost, quote unquote, almost anything outside of prohibited transactions. The second solution is our metals card. We have a gold and silver debit card. It's a Visa card. It works anywhere Visa is accepted. You actually buy metal, gold or silver, and that metal becomes liquidated real time to cover the cost of transactions. So I hate to plug other vendors, but most of your listeners might have heard of BitGold. It's like a BitGold concept, but with gold or silver. So those are our two. And yeah, we had the previous interview I did with you. We've had great clients come in, and we certainly appreciate it. And we always go. A lot of our business comes from referrals or from interviews with guys like you. So we do try to make sure we pamper our clients very well. We want to make sure everyone's very happy with what we do. So that's always a goal.
I gotta have you back on for another show with Perpetual Assets, man, because you just I didn't realize you guys also did Bitcoin. That's freaking phenomenal, bro.
Yeah. No, we've been fans of crypto for a long time. I wish I would have pounded the hell out of it when it was down to 180.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Dude, my God, it was such a chance. But it's still doing well, man. It's what is it, 900 right now?
Yes, it's gonna go great, man.
Yeah, I'm not terribly worried about it. But again, as our friend's Jobs said, I think it was during the Stanford commencement address. He said it's always easy to connect the dots looking backwards, right? So
right,
I could bitch about 180 all I want, but too late now. Now it's at 900.
Absolutely.
But yeah, great job today, man. We're excited. We're looking very forward to the, knock on wood, next 8 years.
Yes.
And let's just keep it going. We're going to see more and more liberal mass suicides. It's only going to get worse and worse. So again, I think my theory in it, just make fun of them. It's our turn to have some hubris and be slightly cocky. It's okay. We don't have to completely make them cry, but you got to laugh at some of the stuff they do. I mean, it's funny.
No, it really is, man. It really is. And we're down to the last 2 minutes, man. Give your synopsis, your closing statements, and plug your website as well as your social media.
Our website is perpetualassets.com. And as I say, even if you misspell it, we'll be the first 50 Google results that come up. Just perpetualassets.com, just like it sounds. We also have a YouTube channel where we have interviews. We'll be including this on our YouTube channel as well. We conduct other interviews with lots of a couple of the speakers you've heard today, other names in the sector and ideology you would have heard of. So you can check out our YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, etc. So yeah, call us with any questions. Check out our website. We're here to help you conduct diligence on retirement accounts or the Visa card. In regards to closing thoughts, let's not forget we're the group that keeps an eye on central bankers and on government. So so far so good, but let's keep an eye on everything. It's not our job. The neocons and the globalists and the oligarchs, these people still have influence in the deep state, so to speak. So let's hold people's feet to the fire, keep them honest, and keep fighting the good fight. We're on the right side of righteousness. We're the good guys.
Absolutely. Gus Demas, thank you so much for being on from Perpetual Assets, folks. Check out their website, check out their social media, as well as their YouTube channel, and call them, contact them for any questions you might have. I didn't realize they do all the things also with crypto. That is freaking awesome. I mean, I get 1,000,001 emails Well, where do I get gold? Where do I get silver? Where do I get Bitcoin? Well, call these guys over at Perpetual Assets, Gus and Will. They will take care of you, guaranteed. Gus, thank you so much, man. Enjoy the rest of your Obama day, and enjoy your weekend, bro.
Dude, keep fighting the good fight. You guys are doing an awesome job, dude.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, and try not to drink too much, man.
You too.
I'm gonna be partying my ass off after tonight. Later, buddy.
Later on.
Have a good one. Bye bye. All right, CJ. I think now we have the
first.
Yes,
this is a Rogue Money first,
and he's muted. How do we unmute him?
I'll take care of that.
Oh, you got you take care of that.
Can. All right, very good. Yeah, so we have a very one of our contributors to Rogue Money. The Prince is now with us.
Yes.
And so we're very excited to have him on. And I think I may have unmuted him, but it keeps going back. So for the Prince, if you could
unmute yourself.
Look in your middle navigation, the Prince, and there's an icon there for a microphone, and just click that, and it should unmute you. And I'll see if I can do it. It's not letting me do it from my control panel. So
maybe
the other thing
that off and comes back.
Yeah. Maybe if you the Prince, I'll message you if you could drop out and then come back in and see if it allows you to, and then I'll send you a link to make sure that you can get in. But the other thing that regarding Perpetual Assets that he did not mention, Gus, so I'll help you out here, but they're one of the gold sponsors for Anarchapulco 2017.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah, in which Rogue Money is right there as one of the affiliate partners. That's coming up here pretty quickly at the end of February. And it's a great opportunity. I looked at the lineup, and it continues to get better every year. And next year will be even better, V, because we'll be there.
Yep, absolutely. Next year we will definitely be there. Looking forward to it, my man. I'm looking forward to it. Let me see what the hell's the.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's good. So just regarding the whole, transition, and it's something that I've been thinking about every day as far as, going through and taking a look at the progress of the day of the election, the transition of power. I mean, that's what America is about, right? I mean, that's. We did that back, 8 years ago, and I know that we all had hoped for the best for, Obama and transition. It didn't happen now. So this isn't a Democratic or Republican thing. It's more about, it's about humanity. It's about all of us, and it's about the ability for us to do better for ourselves, for our families. And there's just been so much in place that the globalists have tried to just control the narrative of the direction that we go. So it's a breath of fresh air to me, and that's even more than whoever is coming into office. It's more about, I feel like humanity won with this election cycle.
Oh, absolutely, man, absolutely. It's a big victory. It's a big win for humanity. It's a big win for all of us, CJ. I mean, what's your take, man? I mean, now that I have you on for a few minutes, why don't you? How do you feel, man? What's your outtake for the next couple of years, this year in particular?
This year in particular, as you look through and you understand that the president more is a figurehead that tries to, utilize their leadership skills to, it's tough because in that position, not only are you looking at domestic policy, but you're also looking at international, right? In terms of the relationship. So Trump has a very challenging job ahead of him of, managing his ambassadors of his State Department to, if you will, kind of reset the U.S.'s vision on diplomacy through the world. And it more evolves around, not being so aggressive in terms of, foreign intervention and regime change. So as he meets with Syria, when he meets with, Vladimir Putin, I think it's going to be very important for him to navigate that through in a sense of, this is the true apology tour that needs to happen. Obama flew around his first week as president, flying around the globe, apologizing for the United States and for what? Really nothing at that point. But now Trump has the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? you know, we've made a lot of mistakes in the past. We're sorry. We want to reset that relationship with all of you.
Right.
So I think that's the first more important part as far as a global thing, and then domestically, I think as he navigates through is that he's got to work very hard to work both sides of the aisle, because yes, he has a Republican majority in the House and the Senate. He's going to get pushed back from both sides. You know that. So you know that John McCain and his girlfriend Lindsey Graham. you know that they're going to be there. That they're going to oppose everything that he comes forth and what he says. So when I was watching that, when I was listening to that inauguration speech that Trump delivered today, I'll be honest with you folks, in my lifetime, I have never seen someone come forth and put a lot of people on notice.
Yeah.
And that's what his speech delivered today. He put people on notice.
Yeah, absolutely. He made it all about us, the people. He called out the globalists for what they who they are. And whatnot. Hopefully the Prince is going to be coming back on and we can get him. But anyway, yeah, this is a monumental occasion. I was so happy to see Odumbo climb the steps of Air Force One with his tranny in tow and waving goodbye, smiling as they go off on another and final vacation. Hopefully we'll never see them again. But knowing Odumbo, he will probably want to wreak havoc on a much more global scale. And he'll try to undermine Trump and the United States by becoming the new Secretary General of the United Nations. I bet you that's where he's going to be going next, CJ.
I think that's what he's. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're coming clear.
I truly think that that's what he's going to be positioning himself for, as the UN Secretary, the General of the UN. And I don't think it's going to happen, primarily because the fact that when you look at the folks that head up the UN and the recent things, and you've seen some of their posts, I think you're going to see the UN they're going to be starting to pivot themselves to remain relevant in a Trump foreign policy administration. I don't think that that's going to happen. And with Obama and the direction that he was going.
Yeah.
We all have to understand that, that wasn't Obama's action. He was being directed. Obama was more of a puppet in the play. When you look at Obama's history, you begin to question his whole, whether it's from his education to his birthplace to how he was allowed to travel to foreign countries that the United States have travel bans on, the amount of passports that Obama carried. There's only one thing that plays out and it's just a perfect example of a CIA operative. And that's how I looked at it, that's the only reason that his college transcripts were pretty much expunged. There was no college transcripts, there was no record of him attending not Harvard, but what was the other educational facility? V, help me out here.
Cornell.
Yeah, Cornell.
Columbia. I'm sorry, Columbia.
Columbia. People didn't remember him. They're like, yeah, Barack Hussein Obama. They're like,
who?
What's that? Did he go to school here?
Yeah.
So in saying that, the way that I feel is that the last several years even from JFK, was that the CIA really had a working extension into the political outcome of the last several elections. And this is the first time that the humanity rose to the occasion to say, you know what, we're not having it anymore. So to me, this election cycle is more to do around, I'm proud that so many people woke up to the government intervention, to the violations of our rights as far as privacy.
Yeah.
This was a political awakening. This was a lot larger than Trump. And to hear him say that in his message, that, it's not about me, it's about you. It's about the people rising to the occasion. And to me, that's the nail in the coffin. That it's all about us as a people realizing our dreams and our hopes and taking accountability for our own actions. Right. We can't sit back and wait for the government or anyone else to provide opportunity or jobs. We have to seek that for ourselves, V.
Right, exactly. That's something that we have to seek for ourselves. The only thing that government can do is create the environment. They can create the environment by getting themselves out of the way. And once they're able to get themselves out of the way, we the people, we the creators, we the ones who have the ability to create can go forth and create the type of country, the type of economy that benefits everyone. That's how you do it. You cannot have government in there picking winners and losers. You cannot have government out there tampering and meddling. You cannot have government out there making it extremely difficult, okay? Extremely difficult for people to run small businesses and choke us out with taxes and regulations. Can't do it. You can't do it. But they have this pipe dream that they think that they could, you know? It's absolutely ridiculous, my man.
Yeah. And the Prince has been able to join us, so welcome the Prince. I apologize for any confusion earlier, but are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I'm here.
Fantastic. What's up, buddy? How are you, man?
I'm hanging in there.
How's your Obama day coming along?
It's good. I'm trying to peel the purple off of my neighbors who are wearing the purple for some sort of color revolution that's going on in the Connecticut suburbs right now. But I think Melania is the next Jackie O, and
yes,
she's certainly going to be setting some trends and bringing back the gloves, and she's got great posture.
Yep, she really does, man. So what's your take on everything, man? I think how's the Middle East taking all this?
Well, I love Rex Tillerson as Secretary of State. I think he's gonna shake up the sandbox a lot. You know, the whole deal with Exxon and the Rosneft in the Gulf looks very promising.
Yes.
And that type of cooperation between the United States and Russia is what we need. You know, it's about everyone getting paid and everyone growing, and that's what true globalism is. It's not you know paying Paul and taking the money from Peter to do so.
Right.
So I like I like the team he's put together, and it's going to be interesting because Trump is first and foremost a businessman, and with Turkey and Iran and Iraq and Russia had that meeting, and it was like Obama sabotaged it by not keeping Trump in the loop and getting an envoy to that meeting. Did a U.S. envoy ever get to the meeting?
No.
That was yeah. So just as a parting gift, he had to throw salt in that meeting, which would really get ISIS out of Mosul and Syria. But what's interesting is you have Iran and Iraq, which are very strange bedfellows, coming together, and the Iranians helping Iraq to dislodge ISIS from Mosul, and it's a whole new paradigm. I think the House of Saud has a lot to contend with, and if they have to start to tax their own people, it's a wrap for them. So
yeah, absolutely. A lot of things. How's the House of Saud taking this Trump victory, man? You think they worried? I mean, with Tillerson coming in, OPEC being on the rocks, with moves by Russia into the Middle East, the Chinese wanting to reprice oil. How are they taking all of this, man? What do you think the moves they're going to take? especially with what's his name, the Crown Prince coming in.
You know, everyone feels that Nayef is got the experience to be king, but it's not going to happen. The younger son, Mohammed bin Salman, will be the next king of Saudi Arabia, probably the youngest, head of OPEC state in years. And traditionally they go with age and wisdom, but King Salman has a soft spot for his youngest son.
Yeah.
Because of his mother's ties to Syria, and he's got this vision for the Saudi 2030, and a United Arab Emirates demographic and blueprint is not going to work in such a restrictive kingdom as Saudi Arabia, although it is primarily to stop the flow of Saudis leaving the country and spending their money in the Emirates and in Monaco and in Europe in their off time. They're going to build a Six Flags, and they're going to, follow the model of Dubai.
Right. So they're going to build a Six Flags over Mecca.
It's going to be in Jeddah, but before Trump took office, he met with Saudi delegation and has agreed to build 8 luxury hotels in Jeddah, which will make money because Jeddah is the launching point for the pilgrimage to Mecca. So he's trying to play nice with the Saudis, but also playing nice with Iran and Iraq, and that's what he's best at doing, playing both sides against the middle. And with the deficit that the Saudis are running and the plans they have for conscripting Egyptian troops to take the fight in Yemen to the ground, they're gonna get in a quagmire in Yemen. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. But Tillerson is the man to get the 5% of Aramco that's going to go, that's going to have an IPO, and make sure that it gets into the New York Stock Exchange and the London Stock Exchange. And, that's an important thing. And with Saudi hemorrhaging money in Yemen, they're going to need to do that. So that's my 2 cents.
Very informative, man. Very informative. What did you like best about today's inauguration?
I thought Mike Pence gave a great speech. It's a little disheartened to see what was going on outside with the
snowflakes protesting.
Yeah, and Obama gets rid of the head of the Secret Service and makes him leave his post at exactly noon.
Yeah,
on such an important day.
Yeah, the National Guard guy. He was the head of the National Guard.
Yeah, National Guard. But it's just the left, just wherever they can, and even on the last day in office, they're trying to throw salt in Trump's policies. But overall, I think he's got a team around him. He's picked the best, and it's gonna go well. I think the Saudis are going to realize that if they have to choose between the U.S. and China, they're not equipped to deal with China. They don't have the mentality to deal with the Chinese, and the Aramco IPO will be on the Western Stock Exchange.
Absolutely. Prince, thank you so much, my man, for joining us, bro. I know we had some technical difficulties. I would love to have you back on and do a whole hour show with you, man. You're a wellspring of knowledge. Probably the most. It's not even the word probably. You are the most connected individual in the Middle East that I know. Period. So I'd love to have you back on at least for an hour, man. Let's set it up for this week.
Definitely. Pencil me in, and I'll be here with bells on.
You got it. Thank you so much, man. Have a great day. Don't drink too much on Obama Day. Enjoy the weekend, bro.
All right, you too. Take care.
Take care, buddy. Thank you.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
With that being said, folks, that is the Prince. You can find him exclusively on Rogue Money. He's a new contributor there, and he's going to be doing a lot more work, and you're going to be hearing a lot more from him. In the meantime, we have the what looks like upon the screen looks like some sort of a car's visor or windscreen. I'm looking at. I see a rear view mirror. That is a signal that the not one and only. I see leather. It's probably in the Jaguar. I don't know if he's in the Jaguar or what sort of European exotic is he driving. I'm not exactly sure. But the intelligence extraordinaire W is here. He has dodged the Predator drones. He has evaded the Reaper drones, and he has evaded the Terminators. And he is here joining us. Hey man, happy Obama Day, bro.
No Obama.
No more Obama. Love it. I've been drinking a lot of cheap champagne. CJ's knocking back the tequila. I don't even know if CJ doesn't even know where he is anymore. He's so far gone. But welcome aboard, buddy.
I'm a Scotch on the rocks kid, but I will tell you this: an Obama drone in the last 24 hours, tried to do a Breitbart on my car.
Are you kidding me?
And it was horrible. No, I'm not kidding you.
Was it a pigeon or was it a?
Tried to pull straight in front of the Jag. I wasn't even speeding, if you can imagine. And fortunately, because I have extremely good tires, etc., on my rig, it was limited damage. But what was so funny, my son was in the car with me. He gets out of the car and instantly sees the rear bumper of the offending vehicle with an Obama sticker on it.
Oh my God. Let me guess. Was it a Subaru?
No insurance. They call, on their no Obama phone to get relatives to come pick them up. It was very, very annoying. But, at the end of the day, I told my son, I said, look, it's just metal and plastic. Okay, they're all okay. It's still a great day. Take a deep breath, relax. That's what they have guys that fix these for. So I actually didn't get that frustrated. My son after the fact was like, I can't believe how relaxed you were about the whole thing. But that's the way I've been even about this whole process to today. Mm-hmm. With all the people thinking there was going to be, all sorts of horrible drama, I really never bought into that. I felt all along that it was going to end up at the end of the day as somewhat of a non-event. All the threats and heavy breathing and it's almost like Hillary is imminent thing. And as you got further into it, Trump didn't lighten up. He tripled down in those last weeks, hitting every state again and again, and not giving up to the very last second of the night before the election. He did not lighten up. And I think that we have to have kind of a similar attitude now with what's yet ahead. I'm looking across the world at other things. As you know, I've been dealing with matters south of the border to the very tip of the continent. And what was interesting, just in the last 24 hours, we had the pretty high level conference call with key players in a couple of different countries' administrations south. And they actually today, the funds for security projects that have needed to be done have been being talked about for almost 3 years now. Yeah. And literally this was the flipping point in letting the rubber actually start to meet the road. Things that they knew they had to do, that had to be done, but they were waiting, and somehow even there, it wasn't real. The oath was actually said. They just couldn't believe that something else might yet happen. But that's, you get into this mental lock. This crowd that's had control of people's minds has been so strong. The illusions have been so strong that it's going to be very hard to break them. And even now, the fog is just now starting to clear, and, a different day, a new day dawning.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
One thing, I'm sure most of your listeners have seen it, but I'll just give an example. The efforts to get El Chapo into the U.S. and to take the pressure off the Mexican government has been there all along, but only last night, today, he will be arraigned. It's similar in my mind. I go back to when the prisoners came back after the Iran hostage seizure, and it happening on the day that Reagan was inaugurated. There's on so many levels things happening that are breaking loose even right now, where the timing isn't just in the zone, it's to the day with these changes being apparent. That's why Michelle had such a sour puss on her face. She hasn't got a puss elsewhere, but she had a puss on her face.
Good one.
Yeah. And by the way, Bankster Babe has a fantastic article concerning the connection to Tesla. She probably should follow up, and I'm going to email her. She's listening right now. She needs to follow up on the George Bush connection to Tesla that's been asserted for a long time. And by the way, I was born 100 years to the day after Tesla. So I have quite a emotional connection to Tesla there. So,
are you there?
Oh, W, I think you canceled.
W.
Yeah, it was,
there he is.
Yeah, the things that I see on the horizon that I'm concerned about, that I'm the most concerned about, and I hope, and I'm sure that they are. I don't say hope. Trump's got good people in there, but ISIS has been where all the attention has been, and the various other Al Qaeda and Al Nusra and everything else. The one that I'm most concerned about right now, and I've been watching for quite some time, is Hezbollah. There's been black market purchases of arms that match Hezbollah's that are pretty significant quantities, possibly for a false flag. In the stuff in Central South America that's going on, even in the discussions on security matters over the last several weeks and right up through today that I've been involved in, the Hezbollah activity in Central and South America is just over the top.
Really?
Just a few weeks ago, Peru broke up of Hezbollah people that were scouting sites in Peru for soft targets for terrorist strikes.
That's interesting.
You've got issues in the Philippines. You've got issues in the tri-border.
I heard even Puerto Rico. I even heard in
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, there's actually some ISIS recruiting. That's why this recent guy who was doing his shootings over there. They're trying to get these infiltrations because this way they'll be closer to the United States and they can
Well, and don't confuse ISIS and Hezbollah. I'm talking specifically about Hezbollah here. They're not necessarily in anybody's radar, but I actually think that Hezbollah is got a much deeper bench. The threat is far more serious, especially on a global scale. Remember, ISIS is a fabrication. It's a creation that was really to bait us into Syria, and the Hezbollah situation. What I'm concerned about is something either going into Lebanon and into northern Israel, southern Syria, western Syria. and then syncopated attacks that bring them to the fore at a global level. In other words, things happening in other parts of the world that bring them to the top of the hit list all of a sudden. The situation in West Africa, Nigeria, up into Libya is also very serious. But what we've seen is Russia has been making leaps and strides into areas that were where we classically, or NATO classically, had the most influence. And so the one thing that I would go back to El Chapo and the situation on our southern border, the problem is when, just like in any mob war, when you take out one of the kingpins, and El Chapo's reach, his power base is off the charts. When you take out a major player like that, the vacuum of power brings real wars and conflicts that are just off the charts. So with him being brought to the U.S., the perception will be that at this point, he's not coming back. Up until he left Mexico, there was always a threat that he and his organization could prevail somehow, over the politicians and everything else. I think that perception at a local level is going to be that he's done and gone. And so now the struggle for who takes his place, or who and multiples fills that vacuum, is going to be in play. And the terrorists are there. They've got some of the money, terror groups. There's, pick your flavor. There's a whole deck of cards of different groups that'll be vying for control in small regions and in larger regions, because the money involved is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So one other thing that I wanted to mention, the whole Pizzagate pedophile thing, that's not over. It's gone down the list in the charts. Everybody watching all the stuff, just waiting to see if we were even going to get to this day with all the alleged threats to, Trump's life and everything else. But Obama did not pardon Hillary. He didn't do other pardons that could have affected the prosecution of those scandals. And I do think that that's going to continue. Now, one of the reasons that's been very, something that I've followed for a long time is all the way back in the mid-90s, and it's not known in most circles. I think I talked with some of our rogue contributors privately about it, but the scandals going on during the Clinton administration before the second election were just off the charts, even back in the Bush 1 administration, with the pedophilia at various activities that our government was involved in, where there was access by pedophiles to these operations here in the U.S. and outside the country. It was off the charts. And if you remember when Colby, director of CIA back from the 70s, died in his canoeing accident, one of the interesting things there is that he was getting set to testify on some of the matters, and he had talked privately with people that I know personally about his disgust with the pedophilia and those activities that he became aware of, and needing to route some of those people out. And suddenly he dies in this mysterious canoeing accident that, he just flipped it over and drowned. Really? Everybody thought it was the Russians that wanted him gone, or that there might have been something nefarious there. I think it goes back to this same thing. This crowd is a tough crowd. This is far from over, and they're a very dangerous crowd, even as the poisoning of Roger Stone, what appears to have taken place there, if true, that just goes to show you this war may have gone a little more underground, but it's far from over, because this administration is a direct threat to that crowd that is really a Luciferian, very evil crowd.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely correct. Last thing, dude. What is the top? Well, what are the other things that are on your radar? Real quick, we got about 5 minutes.
Well, you know, when you look at what's coming in the economy, there's so many different things in play. When you have disruption like this and chaos like this, it's actually not a true saying, but people believe it, so they accept it. You know, the Chinese symbol for opportunity is the same one for, you know, risk or disaster. In this moment, you know, you have to look at your own personal capabilities and your own personal situation. Keep your assets closer to the vest than further away. I wouldn't be getting too wild and crazy. You know, real estate's going to the moon, real estate's collapsing. The stock market's going way up, the stock market's going way down. You know, I'd stick with safer bets. I'd play close to the vest in this thing. And, you know, give Trump and camp a chance to start to work the problems, and just be real. I wouldn't be making investments that are for returns that are more than a year out or 2 out. If you want to start a business or something like that, great, but I'd keep my risk relatively low and let the market determine how much you ramp up. You know, play with your winnings. I wouldn't put it all on the table right now. And again, there's going to have to be some type of a reset in the money machines. The people that are running those machines are not this camp that just took power. So part of the war against Trump and crew is going to involve the currency and ways to manipulate it to set them up. Now, part of that setup may be, you know, raising the values and flooding the market so with more currency, et cetera, and a false sense of, you know, hope and good. I'd be looking for the slap down somewhere not too far down the road. I mean, this is real spy versus spy, you know, chess at multiple levels stuff. And so, you know, it's not going to be as bad as you probably think it is. It's probably not going to be as good as you're hoping it is. I would just try to be very real in your expectations and tone down and not overreaching, overstepping. And you know, it's as I've told everybody in this, you know, club for quite some time, on the numbers, there's some bumps here and there coming, but the end is far from here. Right. There's a lot of game ahead of us here. There's a lot to play through, and you know, keep your powder dry, take deep breaths. This is far from over.
Absolutely. Very well said, W. Thank you so much, man, for joining us and sharing your thoughts with us, bro. We really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, and be careful. That's still a lot of those Obama drones that are trying to get off the road with the last gallon of gas that they got in their hot rod. So drive carefully, pay attention. They walk among us. You used to drive, but they'll be out of gas shortly, and so they're going to be walking among us. Watch everywhere. They don't use intersections like other people do. Okay.
Definitely.
They can
Thank
be
you
anywhere.
so much, buddy. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.
Right.
All right, folks. That ends this special inauguration broadcast that we did here on Rogue Money. CJ, thank you for putting this whole thing together. Hats off to you, bro.
Hey, no problem, V. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it definitely was, man. Okay, perfect. Yeah, definitely a lot of fun, and we'll be back later tonight at 8 p.m., folks. We're gonna have that interview with Ivan Thorne. That's going to be fantastic. So make sure you listen to that. It's really an amazing interview. Ivan Thorne will be out tonight at 8 p.m. Until then, enjoy the rest of your days and drinks on me. Cheers to MAGA. We're over and out. Take it away, CJ.